For what feels like forever, crypto trading has basically been a game of staring at some seriously complicated charts, right? But, there's this quiet but really powerful shift happening right now. It's a move away from all that technical jargon towards just having a simple conversation. So today, we're going to break down exactly how AI is changing the whole game for traders.
Okay, be honest. Have you ever just stared at a screen packed with candlesticks, Fibonacci lines, and all those squiggly indicators and felt your eyes just glaze over? Yeah. Trust me, you are not alone. It can seriously feel like you're trying to crack some kind of secret code.
But what if you could get all those same insights, maybe even better insights, without all that visual noise? Well, that's exactly the promise of this new approach that's really starting to take off. It's moving traders away from charts and, towards chatbots, believe it or not.
All right, so let's talk about the old way, the chart fatigue. Now look, I'm not saying charts are useless, not at all. But things like candlesticks and Bollinger Bands, they take a ton of technical skill and, honestly, a lot of emotional control to read right. And for a lot of people, they just create more confusion than clarity. It's like staring at a wall of conflicting signals.
And this is the real game changer. Instead of spending hours trying to decode all those complex patterns and lines and bars, people are now just asking questions. They're using plain English to get straight to the point, asking an AI to give them the context they actually need.
So this brings us to the new way, conversational AI. This is exactly where tools like ChatGPT and Grok are becoming like the new first stop for traders. They just offer a way faster, way more intuitive way to get a feel for the market before you even think about opening a trading platform.
So for example, you can just ask an AI to check the vibe of the market, right? You could throw a simple prompt at Grok like this one, and boom, it can give you a really balanced summary of what the community is feeling, the optimism, the skepticism, all the stories driving the price. And the best part? It's all pulled from conversations happening in real time.
Or let's say you want to understand one of those classic technical indicators, but you don't want to actually chart it yourself. You could ask something like this. And a tool like ChatGPT can just explain the historical significance of a big market event like a breakout. It'll even be smart enough to add a few notes of caution, which is pretty helpful. And you know what? This is also just incredibly powerful for doing research. I mean, instead of digging through a dozen different websites and reports, you can just ask for a direct comparison and get a solid data-backed breakdown in like seconds. It's a huge time saver.
Okay, so let's look at the two big tools and their different styles. The thing is, not all AIs are created equal, right? The two heavy hitters in this space right now are ChatGPT and Grok. And trust me, they have very different personalities and very different strengths when it comes to analyzing the market.
Here's a simple way to think about it. ChatGPT, that's your go-to for the deep dives into fundamentals and logic. It's the methodical one. But Grok, with its direct pipeline straight into X, it's amazing at capturing the real-time social pulse of the market. You know, the narratives, the hype, and yeah, even the memes.
So analyst versus trader friend. Let's actually put them head to head, give them the exact same prompts and see what happens. You're going to see one acts just like a methodical analyst, while the other one, well, it's a lot more like your super plugged-in friend who's always trading.
And you can see the difference right away. We asked both of them for an investment thesis on Ethereum. So ChatGPT comes back with this really great, big picture overview. It talks about things like ETF momentum and the growth of the ecosystem. It's super accessible. But Grok gets way more technical and data-driven, right? It's citing specific ETF inflow numbers and talking about upcoming network upgrades like Pector. And it's the exact same pattern when we ask them to analyze a price chart. ChatGPT tells you a story, right? It's more fluid, it identifies a trend shift, it gives you this kind of cautiously bullish outlook. Grok, again, breaks it down like a trader would. It's pointing out precise support and resistance levels and even flags a potential $144 million liquidation event that might be driving the whole move. Super specific. So, to just quickly summarize what we've seen here, ChatGPT is giving you that accessible, story-driven analysis. It's awesome for getting the broader context. Grok, on the other hand, is delivering these really precise, data-rich, and socially aware insights that honestly are much more geared towards someone who's actively trading.
So yeah, to put it as simply as possible, ChatGPT is your methodical analyst. You go to it when you need to really understand the fundamentals, or compare the tokenomics of two projects, or just get a solid, structured, logical explanation of something.
And Grok? That's your plugged-in trader friend. It's the one who's constantly scanning social media, which makes it perfect for understanding that fast-moving sentiment, the cultural trends, and what the entire community is fired up about. Like right this second.
Okay, so the future of trading. What does all of this actually mean for the bigger picture? Well, this whole shift from staring at charts to just having a conversation, it's going to have some huge implications for how traders do their thing in the future.
Which, of course, leads to the million-dollar question, right? If AI can do all of this, does that mean charts are done? Are they on their way out? Is this really the end of technical analysis as we know it?
Well, not quite. The answer is that their roles are just changing. The best way to think about it is like a new partnership. Charts are still absolutely essential for showing you the what, the real-time price, the volume, the structure. But AI is becoming the best tool for explaining the why, the macro news, the community sentiment, and the historical context behind all those moves.
So what we're seeing is a totally new workflow emerging. More and more, traders are going to AI first, just to get their bearings and maybe form a hypothesis. They ask the questions, they get the context, and then they go to the chart for the tactical confirmation and actually execute the trade.
All right, but we have to talk about the most important part, the human in charge. There is a really, really important caveat to all of this. As powerful as these tools are, they are not a magic bullet. The human trader, that's you, is still the most critical piece of the puzzle.
And it is so crucial to understand why. First off, remember, these AIs are not perfect. They can be wrong. Their answers are totally dependent on their training data. Plus, they can't see really critical stuff like live order books. They can miss subtle macroeconomic shifts. And this is probably the most dangerous part, they can give you this false sense of confidence if you're not super careful.
So, at the end of the day, the best way to approach this is to treat AI as a powerful thinking assistant, not a trading oracle. Use it to process a ton of information way faster than you could on your own. Use it to spot connections you might have missed. But please never, ever treat it like it has all the answers. The final judgment call, that's always on you.
Ultimately, this whole shift is really about adding a powerful new layer of intelligence to your trading process. It's about finding clarity and context in a market that is just so often defined by noise. Because let's face it, sometimes the smartest chart is the one that actually talks back.